evening, everyone, and welcome back to From the Newsroom. I'm your host, Caleb Hoggard. The 4th annual Bridges event was held Monday, February 13th. Hosted by Holland College of Arts and Media, Diversity and Inclusion Committee, the event was a time to bridge Black History and Women's History Months together. Reporter Koki Lynn has more on the story.
With the theme of Generate Exchange for this year's show, the annual Bridges event was held at Rose Theater on February 13th. The goal for the event is to intersect both Black history and women's history through the showcase of arts like dance, song, or poetry, and allowing their voices to be heard. We spoke with student representative Cameron Chai about what went into planning the show and what it means for those involved.
It's a showcase of people who culminate diversity and inclusion. So they're clearly sharing something that speaks to them. So as an MC of the evening, I would hope to really get to know what they're trying to say so that I can kind of give them a strong foundation before they go on.
With preparations for the next event already in the works, the Bridges event looks to the future for yet another year of talent and heart. For The Arrow, I'm Koki Lynn.
Thank you, Koki. To learn more about the Bridges event, reporter Kyrie Padberg's article will be linked in the description below. On February 18th and 19th, the annual leather tooling event was held at Crisp Museum at River Campus. Reporter Koki Lynn has more on the story.
Crisp Museum, within its walls the long history of Southeast Missouri. Today, visitors got a chance to take a piece of that history home with themselves. We spoke with Gary Tyler, the outreach specialist, about the event and what to look forward to.
We do it once a year, so it is an annual kind of a late winter, beginning of spring activity that we've been doing.
Tyler said that a large part of why they hold the event is for members of the community to practice and learn about skills no longer used. If you need a belt, Tyler said, today you can go to Walmart, but back in the 1800s you had to make one yourself. While the leather tooling event is hosted annually, the Crisp Museum hosts many activities throughout the year open to anyone to join. For The Arrow, I'm Koki Lynn.
Thank you, Koki. To learn more about the leather tooling event, reporter Zach Huffman's article will be linked in the description below. Now it's time to hear from the man with great facial hair and an even better sense of fashion. Let's go to Nathan Gladden with this week's Weekly Roundup.
Welcome back to the Weekly Roundup, where we recap some of the most prevalent news stories taking place on and off campus. Are you familiar with the quote, "Mo money, mo problems"? Well, for biomedical science major Jaylen Greenlee, he will be getting mo money to help out with his college career. Greenlee had won 12 credit hours of free tuition at the women's basketball pinkout game this past weekend on February 16th. Although mo money may lead to mo problems, there are some events taking place in our country that could lead to more problems. On February 15th, a 55-gallon drum of explosive vapor exploded at Patashnik Transportation in Sikeston, Missouri. 2 people were injured, leaving them with severe burns to their bodies. Check out Kyrie Padberg's brief over the matter in the link below. East Palestine, Ohio has been undergoing a crisis of its own. Following a derailment of the Norfolk Southern train, hazardous material spilled into the surrounding community. While citizens have been allowed to return, an ongoing fear of the health effects continues. On a lighter note, this past weekend was the NBA's All-Star Weekend, where some of the best athletes come together to compete in a series of events, such as the Skills Challenge or 3-point contest. However, this year's dunk contest was special because one of the participants was a G League player. Mac McClung is the first G League player to compete in the NBA dunk contest. Not only did he come out to compete, McClung ran away with the competition by winning the contest while scoring all 50s and 148 in each of his 4 dunks. As we wrap up this edition of the Weekly Roundup, always remember, you never fail until you stop trying. I'm Nathan Gladden. Back to you, Caleb.
He has such a way with words. I only hope to be as good as him one day. Anyways, this has been this week's edition of From the Newsroom. Thank you for joining us, and as always, I'm your host, Caleb Hoggard. Good night, Cape Girardeau.